Welcome to your Houston Rewind for October 30th through November 3rd. I'm KHOU 11 digital anchor Brandy Smith. We know catching up on the news can be overwhelming in a city like Houston where it just doesn't stop. So every weekend we take this opportunity to fill you in on some of the stories you may have missed. Let's rewind. Monday, a Houston judge set a trial date for Ken Paxton's long-delayed felony securities fraud case. It'll start on April 15th. Anna Bennett broke down why this was a moment more than 8 years in the making.
Well, Paxton was first indicted on these charges back in 2015. But legal battles over where the trial should happen stalled this case until a judge ruled Houston earlier this year. Now today, we know when Paxton will face a jury. After walking away the winner last month in Austin, Ken Paxton is striving for a repeat next year in Houston. The Attorney General skipped most of September's 2-week-long impeachment trial, but during a roughly 10-minute-long hearing inside this courtroom today, Paxton sat silently with other defendants on the docket as Judge Andrea Bell set an April 15th trial date.
And unlike the impeachment, this is going to be a fair trial.
A trial over different charges decided by a different jury, 12 men and women of Harris County instead of 30 state senators.
These senators were told up front that they will be primaried if they mess with Ken Paxton. This jury will not be primaried. They have nothing to fear.
Paxton's lawyers also believe they'll get a fair trial.
We have a fair judge, and I think we expect even-handedness.
Their client maintains his innocence while maintaining some of the lawyers from his impeachment win. They're battling special prosecutors who say Paxton recruited investors for a Dallas area tech company in 2011 without telling them that company was paying him to do so.
This is about the money for the special prosecutors. It's not about justice.
The one lingering issue both sides left court without resolving today, how much the special prosecutors will get paid. Judge Bell will rule on the pay issue separately. There is a pre-trial hearing set for February. If Paxton is convicted on some of these charges, he faces up to 99 years in prison. Reporting from downtown Houston, Adam Bennett, KHOU 11 News.
A security guard accused of posing as an officer, then kidnapping and sexually assaulting a man, faced a judge on Monday. Michelle Choi heard about the disturbing allegations from prosecutors.
Yeah, prosecutors say the victim had just gotten off work, made a quick stop at a corner store here in the Spring Branch neighborhood and began walking home when he was stopped by a man pretending to be a police officer. That man, according to prosecutors, is 28-year-old Gianari Gillespie. KHOU 11 was the only news crew to get video of him in court this morning. Gillespie is charged with aggravated sexual assault, aggravated kidnapping, and impersonating a public servant. Today, his bond was lower from the initial $300,000 to $230,000 instead.
Obviously, I did not want the court to reduce the bond, but I do think that the bond is remaining sufficiently high that will keep him in custody as well as keep the community safe.
Prosecutors say on October 4th, just after midnight, Gillespie pretended to be a police officer and flashed his emergency lights to flag down a 25-year-old man walking down Westview. They say he told him he was a suspect in a crime, then detained him, put him in handcuffs and into the back of his vehicle, allegedly called dispatch before taking him to another location where he sexually assaulted him, then brought him back. They say the victim told investigators he didn't fight back because he was scared for his life and believed Gillespie was a real police officer who had a gun.
On top of that intimate level of violation, you have a defendant who is posing as a police officer, someone that as a community we're supposed to trust and that we are trained and educated to trust. And here he is abusing that position of power to take advantage of somebody and ultimately sexually assault them.
Prosecutors say investigators tracked down Gillespie's vehicle thanks to surveillance video. According to his former employer, Texas Crime LLC, a private security company here in Houston, Gillespie used his personal vehicle for work. The company issued this statement saying Gillespie was already off the clock when the alleged assault happened and that he's since been fired. Meanwhile, prosecutors believe there could potentially be more victims out there. They say they will be working closely with HPD on this ongoing investigation. As for Gillespie, if he makes bond, part of his bond conditions include no firearms, no badges, no uniforms, or anything that could make him look like an officer.
Parents and students at Houston ISD's Eastwood Academy High School left a Monday night meeting more frustrated than ever. They've been trying to get answers after the principal and several other staff members were suddenly removed from campus last week. Even though the district turned Aniele Ruiz away, she found out what happened during the meeting.
We want answers! Frustrated parents and students demanding answers tonight after their principal and several staff members were removed just days ago at Eastwood Academy. At tonight's meeting, a district representative told parents those school leaders and employees were removed due to an investigation.
And stop saying you care for my child, because if you care for our children, you would have been transparent and let us know.
But they again failed to offer specifics.
This investigation was prompted by allegations of inappropriate behavior between our girls and students.
Parents and students say the problem is those employees haven't been replaced.
They assured us that all these positions would be filled. She had a substitute teacher today, and they did nothing in class.
And for seniors, their biggest concern, college applications are due November 1st. That's 2 days from now, and they don't have a counselor.
We need qualified people at our school to help us, and right now they're not providing that for us.
We wanted next steps. We wanted a plan.
And students and parents say they got nothing from the district and were shut down when they demanded answers. They said this meeting left them right where they started, frustrated with even more questions.
What we got was the same non-answers and no elaboration and just nothing.
They're lying to us, honestly. They're telling us they're gonna give us all these resources that they know they don't have, that they know they're not gonna give us.
Coming here and getting no answers, the dismissive and disrespectful attitudes, trying to shut down our voices.
Houston police say they are not investigating any incidents at Eastwood Academy and referred us back to Houston ISD Police. The chief of that agency didn't respond to our request for comment. Even though the temperatures crept back up as the week ended, it started with crisp, cool mornings. Monday, Stephanie Whitfield visited Memorial Park, where people didn't let the rain or the cold slow them down.
What a difference a day makes. If you ask me, this is perfect weather to stay inside with a hot cup of coffee, but we didn't get that assignment. Instead, we're outside talking to a bunch of people choosing to be out here too. When the heat finally moves out and cold air blows in, Houstonians typically take one of two paths.
Bundle up, get ready. It's fine, perfect. I love this weather.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Way too cold.
Freezing. So cold. Here, wild temperature swings come with drastic wardrobe choices.
Here it is, almost Halloween, November 1st, and it's 87 degrees yesterday. So this is just a welcome change to be able to put on gloves and a hat and a coat. We're loving it.
It's all about perspective.
This is great for a change, because guess what? In 48 hours, it's going to be 80.
Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
The FBI director issued a warning Tuesday after a Jordanian citizen living in Houston was arrested on gun charges. That man's accused of looking into how to make bombs and supporting the killing of Jews. Matt Doherty learned what put the suspect on the FBI's radar in the first place.
20-year-old Sohaib Abu Yash is in federal custody tonight. Federal law prohibits most immigrants seeking asylum from possessing or firing a weapon. But that's exactly what prosecutors say he did, and in new court documents, that's not all they're alleging. The feds say Abu Yash was in contact with others who share a radical mindset and also viewed specific and detailed content posted by radical organizations. That content included lessons on how to make bombs or explosive devices. Prosecutors say he also made statements to others that supported the killing of people of certain religious faiths. They also say he had conversations about violence and being a martyr in support of a religious cause.
Our most immediate concern is that violent extremists, individuals or small groups, will draw inspiration from the events in the Middle East.
The FBI's director today referencing Abu Yash during a hearing on Capitol Hill as he warned the terror threat in the United States has reached the highest level in years. Today, we visited two Houston area gun ranges where prosecutors say Abu Yash trained. The first, Saddle River Spring gun range in Spring. The other in Northwest Harris County at Range USA. No one at either location would speak on camera, but according to court documents, they've cooperated with federal law enforcement. Not far from Range USA, we found the Northwest Harris County home where Abu Yash lived. And although there were people inside, they would not answer the door. Neighbors told us they had not heard anything about his arrest or the alleged extremist threat living right next door.
Abu Yash is currently being held in federal custody. A federal magistrate deemed him too great a threat to be released on bond. A month after returning to work after being treated for depression, Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo talked to Marcelino Benito about several topics, including how she's feeling now.
The county judge told me she's, quote, feeling great. It's been a pretty busy, fast-paced month for Hidalgo, a lot of issues on her plate, and she's keeping a very close eye on a looming election that will determine who will next lead the city of Houston.
I'm doing great. I really am. You know, they told me I was good to go.
Judge Lina Hidalgo back on the job and in the middle of all the action at Commissioner's Court. Friday will mark 1 month since she returned to work. She stepped away over the summer to seek treatment for clinical depression out of state in Ohio.
Initially, I was supposed to be at the mental health facility for 5 weeks, and then the care team extended it to 7 weeks. So by the time I was ready to be discharged, the sense was, I'm good now. I felt a lot better.
But Hidalgo admits returning to work brought with it its own concerns.
Of course, in the back of my head, I was a little bit worried, you know, what if it comes back? How do I know I'm actually better? And now, you know, a month into the job, around 6 weeks after discharge, I really feel great.
She says improving her mental health and focusing on getting better now has her seeing the job differently.
I'm enjoying everything so much more than I ever did before, just experiencing things from a different perspective.
An issue top of mind for Hidalgo as of late, problems at the Harris County Jail after an inmate died last week awaiting trial. The 15th jail death this year.
I want us to be discussing this every court because in my mind it is an emergency.
County officials also now in the middle of running an important election. Houston's next mayor on the ballot. It's a race Hidalgo and county leaders are closely watching.
There's a new kid in school, right, that's going to come in and I'm going to have to make friends with them, and so whoever wins I'm going to work with, but of course I have a preferred candidate.
The county judge encouraging all voters to get out and vote no matter who they're voting for and to take advantage of early voting options that wrap up this Friday. I'm Marcelino Benito, KHOU 11 News.
Tuesday, 2 girls from Spring were honored for saving a child from drowning this summer. Anna Yeli Ruiz interviewed the girls moments after they helped rescue the 5-year-old, but Ron Trevino showed us how they were recognized.
A family of heroes getting a standing ovation at Harris County Commissioner's Court for saving the life of a boy who almost drowned.
Thank you for being heroes and stepping up and being a good neighbor. And you inspire me and you inspire everyone in this room.
Getting certificates of extraordinary personal action from the Red Cross for taking action just a few months ago. It happened back in June when the Arias family was at this community pool in Spring. The family's 2 eldest daughters noticed a boy had gone underwater. 13-year-old Diana Chavez.
We tried to pick him up and just move him around just to see if he was joking or not. But then he was when I picked him up, right, just to make sure. And then I saw foam coming out of his nose.
Their father would give CPR. Together they saved a young life. Here's the other lifesaver, 14-year-old Kaylee Fernandez.
Thank God that he survived once my dad did the CPR and everything. We all did it. We all did it. It's teamwork.
The teamwork did pay off. A 5-year-old boy is alive tonight thanks to their actions. The Red Cross is quick to point out we should all get trained for CPR. You hope you never need it, but the next lifesaver could be you. Ron Trevino, KHOU 11 News.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so many of the families escaping that violence wind up in shelters. Tuesday, Rekha Mudaraj highlighted an organization that makes birthdays a little brighter for the youngest survivors.
It's the perfect dinosaur-themed birthday party. There are fun activities.
We are opening jewels to decorate the Stegosaurus cutouts.
An amazing cake and plenty of food.
You like one burger? Here you go, here's your meal.
This party is for 2 boys, 1 teen, 1 toddler, celebrating their birthdays this month, while their families flee violent situations at home. Here at Bridge Over Troubled Water, some families stay for days.
We're taking care of their basic necessities.
Others for weeks, even months.
In the midst of not having a home, not knowing where you're going to be from one day to the next, feeling like you're not important becomes normal.
So parties like this, organized by the Birthday Joy program, have become a highlight for the kids at shelters like these.
They see us pull up, and we can hear the children scream, "The birthday people are here! The birthday people are here!"
For this one, the young members of the American Heritage Girls worked out the party details, while Birthday Joy got sponsors to fulfill the kids' gift wish lists. In fact, everything at the party was donated.
People will donate clothes, people will donate money. You think about, the bed, but you don't think about, the one day that a kid gets to feel special is on their birthday. Like, that's all about them. And so there's not a lot of programs that are dedicated just to celebrating a kid on their birthday.
And every child celebrated receives a pillowcase with their name.
It gives them that home no matter where they go.
During a time in their lives they may want to forget, the Birthday Joy program is giving these kids something worth remembering. With Texans Helping Texans, I'm Rekha Muttaraj.
If you want to watch more heartwarming stories like that or learn about more Texans Helping Texans, be sure to visit our website. At khou.com/Texans Helping Texans, you can meet more people doing good in the Houston community. Wednesday, local construction workers reached out to KHOU 11 after they were robbed at gunpoint while on the job. Anna Yeli Ruiz explained how it all went down.
The construction of a new home can be a job opportunity for construction workers, but lately work has been risky. This Houston construction worker who wanted to remain anonymous told me he's been robbed numerous times, and he's not alone. Just 2 days ago, other workers were robbed at gunpoint at the same construction site. The crooks struck at around 2 in the afternoon. According to Houston police, 3 suspects held the workers at gunpoint, stealing tools and equipment, including a compressor and a generator. Court records show quick work from police led officers to the pawn shop less than 3 miles away. 23-year-old Corey Clark was charged with aggravated robbery. His attorney denying Clark's involvement.
On the aggravated robbery is my client is adamant that he was just at the pawn shop.
But in court, we also found out
you have a total of 4 cases remaining before the court.
Clark has a long list of pending charges.
He allegedly put a towel around the complainant's neck,
including assaulting a family member. Back at the construction site, these workers say they're happy an arrest was made. But they've been robbed over and over.
Cuesta mucho empeño y trabajo y uno se sacrifica para empezar a juntar su herramienta y nomás te la quitan de la nada.
And all of their hard work, they say, is taken from them in seconds.
The construction company told Anna Yeli its crews have been targeted by criminals since the day they started work. We are days away from the November election, and Harris County election managers are optimistic things will run smoothly despite past issues. Wednesday, they allowed us to watch a run-through of election night. Jason Miles stepped us through how it'll work.
Inside NRG Arena, where the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is partly held, election personnel prepare for their big event.
You'll see a red light.
We saw last-minute poll worker training in one space.
By law, we have to offer a ballot in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Chinese.
And a voting machine demonstration in another. The so-called Election Command Center is where both electronic tallies and required paper backups end up.
I feel really confident and good about Election Day.
A firestorm following last year's election returned election duties to Harris County Clerk Tanisha Hudspeth's office.
We have put many measures in place in a small amount of time. As you all know, I inherited the operation September 1st, and so we have been moving very fast.
These cameras monitor the command center 24/7 and are available for public view on the Harris Votes website. And for the first time in several years,
our ballot box.
Materials from hundreds of polling places will first stop at one of 6 rallying sites to help consolidate trips to the command center, where officials are also preparing for potential sickness or other election worker absences.
And so what we do is go to an emergency management system of individuals who are ready to go to the polls.
Those are places where many workers have used early voting to work out any kinks.
Seems like it's a lot more streamlined process now, so hopefully things have changed, they've learned their lessons, and we can go from there.
If you're looking for more information about the November 7th election, just text the word vote to 713-526-1111, and we will send you back everything from what you can bring to your polling place to a breakdown of what's on the ballot. The day after Halloween, a new celebration began. Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, originated in Mexico, but now is celebrated across the U.S. Marcelino Benito stopped by Champ Burger on the east side to show us how one neighborhood is breathing beauty into loss.
Guys, culturally, death is typically something somber, but on Dia de los Muertos, it's really quite the opposite. It's a celebration of life and love, and it's all centered around ofrendas, or altars and shrines, just like this. Champ Burger's been a staple on the east side, serving up burgers and fries since 1963.
26.
But 6 years ago,
It's inspired by my wife, who is from Mexico.
a personal Dia de los Muertos ofrenda, or shrine to the founder of Champ,
This is my father up at the top, Mike Saladino, who was the Champ.
gave rise to a new neighborhood tradition.
And little by little, it has developed into a neighborhood, a community altar. And
The once small ofrenda for Chris Saladino's family has grown into a large shrine for the entire community to drop off photos to remember their deceased loved ones.
we had several yesterday, a couple today have been by. People come by to take pictures, to make sure that the photos of their family members that they have put up over past years are still up. Many of the photos that are on here are past customers who have passed away over the years.
Among the lives remembered, HCSO Deputy Darren Almendarez, tragically gunned down last year, his wife leaving this photo at the altar.
He was a constant customer of Champ Burger, loved Champ Burger.
Former employees honored too.
This young lady worked at Champ Burger for over 20 years. She was killed in a car accident.
The bright, colorful displays feature more than photos, but marigolds, flowers believed to attract spirits, small sugar skulls, and mementos that meant something to the dead.
Every once in a while somebody put up a can of beer or a little glass of tequila, chips, cookies, candy, just anything that would make their family member happy in the afterlife.
They are elaborate decorations on a one-of-a-kind holiday, believed to reunite the living and the dead.
It is a celebration of life. It gives people a chance to remember their family members in a bright light.
And Dia de los Muertos is actually a two-night celebration, so it continues tomorrow. And Chris tells me folks are welcome to stop by and drop off photos of their loved ones tonight or tomorrow. If you do so, your loved one will be included in the ofrenda year after year.
This week, what's called a Music in Medicine concert was held at MD Anderson Cancer Center. The Texas Medical Center Orchestra performed as part of a scientific experiment. During the performance, the electrical brain waves of the audience and musicians was monitored and measured. Sherman Chow asked the pianist and neurosurgery professor who composed all this what she hopes to accomplish.
Dr. May Rhee is both an associate professor of neurosurgery and a concert pianist.
How old were you when you started playing piano?
I was 3 years old.
3 years?
I was trying to add up. I've performed in public over 600 times.
Those two loves prompted her to create the Music in Medicine program at MD Anderson. She designed a new study to track the brain's electrical currents of both the musician and audience members in a concert. There'll be about a dozen similar performances to see if the brains are synced in their reactions to the music. Ultimately, the question is if music can be prescribed for a surgeon and patient during an operation and afterwards for better results. What kind of music matters?
Bad for surgery.
Bad, very bad.
What seems to work best? More neutral classical music, which echoes human physiology.
It's music that aligns with the human resting heart rate, like within 60 to 80 beats per minute. When the frequency aligns with the low range of a mother's soothing voice, think of a cello.
Consider patients who've had brain tumors removed or chemo brain.
Even COVID patients experience foggy brain. Music has been shown to promote oxygenated blood flow to targeted regions in the brain.
That helps reduce inflammation and potentially eases symptoms.
So your legs are movement up here, and then your face movement is down here and every part of your body in between.
Dr. Frederick Lang, MD Anderson's chief of neurosurgery, explains different areas of the brain control different parts of the body.
Music has profound effects on our brain that we don't fully appreciate. Through those effects, you can actually influence all functions of the brain. So your gut, your heart rate, immune system.
Potentially, one day, certain kinds of music might improve your digestion, heart, and overall health. Dr. Lang is also an audience member in this concert experiment. After all, two brains are better than one. Sharon Minchow, KHOU 11 News.
Another music and medicine concert is slated for December 4th, 7:30 p.m. at the Manil Collection. We've got more information in this article on KHOU.com. Almost a week after a massive mulch fire in Spring Branch started burning, neighbors found out it could burn for weeks, and they're concerned about all the smoke and ash in the air. Matt Doherty attended a town hall meeting about the fire Thursday night.
Logs as large as 50 inches in diameter still burn at this development site in Spring Branch. It's where neighbors say piles of trees and debris had been stacked up to 40 feet high for more than a year after the land was cleared.
You tend to find that the breathing issues become increased during the evening. So say around 6 p.m. and afterwards, when the flames are pretty high in the evening, that's when you're finding that you're getting the tickle in your throat. There's a lot of coughing going on in the household.
The room was full at a town hall meeting tonight as neighbors asked their most obvious question: when will the fire be extinguished?
They're about 2/3 of the way through the extinguishing effort. And what they're having to do is they're pulling material out, they're turning it over, they're wetting it down, and then they're carrying it away.
The fire was first noticed on Saturday, grew over the weekend and into the start of the work week. By Halloween, the Houston Health Department says air quality readings showed particles in the air were greater than average. However, they won't say if the air is or was healthy for the public to breathe. They say that could vary from person to person.
I want to stress the fact that this fire is contained. Okay, there is no hazard of the fire spreading beyond what's already burning here.
Neighbors tonight also looked for someone to blame. The Houston Fire Department won't say if investigators have found anything that would indicate what started the fire, only saying it's still under investigation. The City Council member Amy Peck said no permits were issued for a planned burn on the site. Neighbors also questioned how authorities could have possibly allowed for these giant piles of debris to grow so high for more than a year without recognizing they're a fire danger.
The city asks any neighbors with health problems related to the smoke to call 311. The biggest jail in the biggest county in Texas needs help. We've told you about the staffing crisis at the Harris County Jail before, but the sheriff's office dropped numbers Thursday, revealing the jail's larger than some small Texas towns. Devon Ronning spoke to deputies who say they need help fast.
As the largest county in Texas continues to grow,
this is just natural with an increase in population.
So does the demand for the Harris County Sheriff's Office, according to Lieutenant Mike Wynn.
We're looking at over 10,000 inmates in the Harris County Jail.
And that means greater need for the detention officers who work behind the scenes in the Harris County jail system. Their role?
Watch over the inmates, care for the inmates. We are responsible for the care and custody of the inmates.
The department has roughly 1,900 of these officers, but need an additional 500 more.
What's the risk with these sort of vacancies in our jails right now?
It's the safety of the inmates, safety of the jail personnel. And this is not just strictly with us, but we're looking at a nationwide issue with staffing.
Which is why the sheriff's office is recruiting through an upcoming open house and raising pay for these officers.
Commissioner's Court just recently approved a 12% raise. We're looking at $22.39 an hour, and the ones that work overtime, they're looking at making $62,000, $63,000 a year minimum. Some are making a lot more than that.
With opportunity for growth, the county hopes it can attract reinforcements.
This is a good time to go out there, speak to a detention officer, get to know what their job duties are, get to see what they deal with on a regular basis, and this may be a career for you.
The sheriff's office is holding that open house next weekend. For more information about the event and what it takes to become a corrections deputy, look for this article on KHOU.com. If you have a problem, Grace can help. And let me tell you, Judy Prisk had a problem. The Houston mom opened up the box of her wedding dress and found out that the dress in the box, it wasn't hers. She turned to Grace White to find her wedding dress.
So this is you, 1995.
Yes, I always have to think, like, was it really that long away?
For Judy Prisk, planning her daughter's wedding was a chance to walk down memory lane.
It's been a lot of fun.
And when her daughter, Audrey, wanted to recreate her dress,
Cut it probably right at the knee and take the sleeves off and make it more of like a cocktail dress.
Judy pulled down her box from the attic.
And then it had the plastic on it, so I'm like, okay, this still looks great.
But when she opened the lid,
So you open it up and I'm like,
Not your dress.
wow, I did not have any beads on my dress.
that's when they realized Judy's dress must have been swapped with another bride.
How much would it mean to you to have your dress back?
So my dad died when I was 23. But my brother took us to dinner and gave me an envelope, and it was a $1,000 check. And he goes, Dad's not here. I want to buy your wedding dress.
And Judy saved all her receipts. They showed her picking up the dress from Gorman's Cleaners on the Katy Freeway on December 22nd, 2000. The Cleaners was well known in Houston, opening its doors in 1948. It's now closed, but when we stopped by, there was a sign on the door with a number.
I was trying to reach Gorman's Cleaners about a wedding dress.
Gorman's Linen Service answered. It's a few doors down and still shares the same name. But a manager called us back to say they wish they could help, but they don't have any of the cleaners' records.
I was going to wear my mom's wedding dress for my reception dress for my something borrowed.
Meantime, this bride-to-be took to TikTok to share her mother's story, hoping that by her wedding date, February 17th, they will find the dress and get this one back to its rightful owner.
Somebody else has this beautiful dress that meant the world to them, and that's it too. I just want to give this back. Even if I never find mine, wouldn't that be cool if I could give that dress back to someone?
If you recognize the dress or if you need Grace's help, you can reach out in all of the different ways you see on your screen right now. A Houston staple just celebrated 20 years in business, but it is still very much a hidden gem. Here's a look inside Red Lion British Pub.
You little buggers.
Craig Mallinson would rather be anywhere other than in front of my camera. But a few days before Halloween, he braved the hot seat, literally feet from the fireplace, for a reason.
I'm very, very fortunate. I'm going to keep saying that. You might want to edit this because I'm just going to keep saying I'm very, very fortunate.
Fortunate. For the regulars who've kept his Red Lion British Pub along Shepherd Drive open for 20 years, and the staff who've been there almost that entire time.
Between Rachel and Juan, I could not do this place.
Server Rachel Goodman started working at the pub 18 years ago.
I just like it. It's like a job, but it's very sociable as far as jobs go, do you know what I mean?
Juan Asensio, the executive chef, came on board just a few years later.
The number one rule here, it's when you're doing things, make sure you're doing right. And I always encourage that to my line cooks.
Crafted by Juan and Craig, the menu features Indian and Mexican flavors, as well as the standard pub fare like shepherd's pie and
fish and chips is a well-known. You can't miss that one. It's very popular.
So popular, the staff here fries up about 200 pounds of it every week.
The fish and chips is like our break, that's probably what we're most famous for.
Food-wise, at least. The pub's also known for its iconic phone booth, imported from England, the hardwood tables, chairs, and bar, the leather-wrapped booths, and the gold plaques adorning, well, just about everything.
I started doing it when I first opened up because I thought it'd be nice to have people's identity here, and then they feel part of something. Yeah, it's just my way of saying to people, thanks for coming here, and we appreciate you, and now you're a part of the pub.
Talking to staff here and regulars, one of the comparisons that came up over and over again was that the Red Lion is kind of like Houston's own Cheers.
Houston, it's the biggest small town in America, right? And everyone knows you, Lane.
Hopefully we're all very friendly. I think we're all for the most of the time, we're all very friendly. And the food is excellent, it really is.
I really want to invite people to come over, give us a try.
It might make the hot seat a little more bearable for Craig. Who knows, in the end, he is fortunate.
Thank you. Thank you for 20 great years. Thank you, Houston. I really appreciate you. And hopefully do another 20 years. That'd be nice. Thank you.
There are so many other gems to explore too, and we want to make it as easy as possible. So here's what you do. You text the word GEMS to 713-526-1111, and we'll send you back a link to an interactive map so you can scout out a visit. Early voting for the November 7th election wrapped up on Friday, and Adam Bennett dug into voter turnout so far.
If you want to improve your state or your country, sometimes the opportunity is hidden in plain sight.
It's a very nice place to come for early voting, and it's the location.
Convenience and issues like crime and taxes compelled Monica Brown Adeako and her husband Michael to vote at this unique polling place.
It's hugely important. I mean, there's so many people around the world that don't get a chance to vote and don't get the chance to make their voice heard and feel completely impotent.
Raindrop Turkish House in Southwest Houston is one of 68 diverse early voting sites offered by Harris County. Its registered voters can use any of them and check wait times at harrisvotes.com.
It's as simple as green, yellow, red. If it's green, go.
Harris County voters who'd rather wait until Election Day can still go to any polling place. Raindrop Turkish House will be one of them next Tuesday. If you prefer a more medieval vibe, Rolling Fork Castle Club is one of your 701 options that will also include a flight museum and a funeral home. No matter where you go, the person running elections,
Be a voter, get her done.
and the people voting in them
What affects you on a local level makes a real big impact.
If you sit at home and don't do anything, then you're going to be ignored.
are putting the same message out in the open.
Rice University in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. A party called the Night of Decadence ended with several people in the hospital. Jason Miles shared the university's response.
Not typically considered a party school, the annual Night of Decadence underwear party last weekend has resulted in major changes here at Rice.
Everyone knows security's amped up and everyone knows to take care of each other at Rice whenever we have these kind of parties.
Recent grad Ashley Duong was surprised to hear things got so out of hand.
I don't want people to think we're just like, oh, these nerds at Rice. It's that we do have fun, but we want to have fun responsibly, and I think this kind of incident doesn't really reflect Rice.
As a result of hospitalizations and even arrests last weekend, the university just announced the cancellation of all campus-wide public parties through spring break, and so-called pub nights will be limited to those over 21. The Night of Decadence, held since 1972, is on probation while a review takes place. In a statement, a spokesperson added a committee will also convene to review the university's alcohol policy. Students in violation could face increased sanctions as Rice revisits the rules.
I think that it is better than doing nothing, because I think if nothing was done, it would only escalate. I don't know about canceling it through spring break. I would say maybe till the end of this semester would be a bit more appropriate.
Most students and alumni I randomly polled agreed that fun parties are one thing, but potentially dangerous ones have no place at Rice.
A juvenile justice facility in Harris County underwent a makeover, turning into what's being called the Opportunity Center. Michelle Choi went to the ribbon cutting to learn more about the building's new purpose.
After closing its doors in 2019, the county and its community partners stepped up to turn this former detention center into a school and a community outreach center. And just like the name, it's opening up opportunities for a lot of people.
You got 3 tones right here.
Alfonso Ceballos has always marched to the beat
It's low, medium, high.
of his own drum.
It sounds better in the music. Right now I ain't got no music playing.
When he isn't creating music, you'll find him in his other favorite class.
This is our auto shop class. This is my toolbox. This is where I make all the magic happen with.
This 17-year-old has learned a lot about tuning cars and life since attending the Opportunity Center.
It's a great place for everybody. We welcome you with open arms.
Life hasn't been the smoothest ride.
I got intoxicated one night, broke into a house that wasn't mine, and I got arrested the following morning. After that, my mind went spiraling down.
Fast forward a year later, thanks to a probation officer recommending him to the center, Alfonso's turned a corner.
Last year I was stuck in a hole where I couldn't get myself out of. Now I've got out that hole, dug the hole back up, and I'm walking on earth.
His dream now to open his own mechanic shop, just like his favorite instructor, who also went through the system in his teens.
I feel good to connect with them and let them know that I've been in a situation that they have.
During the day, the Opportunity Center helps students who have or are currently on probation get ready for the GED, as well as teach them a trade and connect them with potential jobs. At night,
it's open for the surrounding community to also take advantage of any of the resources we have here, whether it be a basic need or a vocational training available to them as well.
Friday's ribbon cutting ceremony solidifying the center is here to stay. Michelle Choi, KHOU 11 News.
Hope that helped you catch up on this past week and you're ready for the next one. Remember, you can tune into KHOU 11 on air, online via KHOU.com and YouTube, as well as by using our free KHOU 11 Plus app on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Have a great week.